What helps Agile scale and spread even more than your practice excellence? How you evangelize. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for joining. Listen, this week I want to talk about Agile evangelism because it's such an important part of your practice. But first, let's remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works. Relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There are so many resources about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a unique and powerful force in this industry. And remember, if this helps you, tell your friends. Don't forget to check out my daily Agile inspirations for leaders by subscribing to my email list. You'll get a preview of next week's posts and a free video to help you align your week with strength and focus delivered right to your inbox. Now, you can also submit your coaching or leadership questions there. Do it all at badassagile.com. So go sign up, post your questions today. So let's talk about Agile evangelism. Here's the idea. In order for Agile to spread, you have to be out there spreading the word, getting people interested, and convincing people to potentially make a shift. I believe this is an often overlooked part of the job. We get in there as coaches or scrum masters and we simply do the work of making individual teams agile. But if nobody knows what you're doing, you can have a great product all day long. You don't have any buyers. You don't have anyone to adopt. You're never going to transform and sustain any energy around agility in your organization. So much like a home-rolled sales and marketing team, you are going to have to get out there and spread the word. Let's start with first principles. What people really want is to be successful in whatever they do. If they're product managers, if they're project managers, if they're divisional or corporate leaders, the things that they invest money and time in, they want to bear fruit. So please remember this, that nobody wants your agile because it's agile. As much as we love it, and as much as there are a ton of benefits that we could sit and extol all day long, nobody cares. People don't want agile for logical reasons. They want them for emotional reasons. So unless your agility helps them get more of what they want or less of what they don't, they are never going to be interested, they're never going to engage, and most importantly, they're never going to be on side with you. You're never going to have the support that you need. You're never going to have the sponsorship that you need. You're never going to have the internal coaches that you need to help you navigate the organization. So the first thing you need to do is get into their hearts. Before you start evangelizing to anyone, individually or in groups, figure out what your audience wants. And it starts with the idea of being more successful in whatever they do, but now you need to ask why. And the only way to know the answer for sure is to get out there and talk to people. It's only when you speak to people one-on-one that you can find out that they're interested in making the organization more successful. It might be that they really believe in a product or service that they're offering. It could be that they only want to bring benefit, success, and rewards to themselves, and that's okay. But whatever it is, it's through those conversations that you'll figure out what motivates those people. What is it they really want more of or want less of? And once you know that, it becomes much easier to craft the upcoming conversations around Agile to show them how Agile will get them the results that they're looking for. And my only other piece of advice here is to start thinking in advance of what you can do to make it easy for them to choose you. So again, rather than showing them a laundry list of why Agile is so completely amazing and all of its wonderful features and benefits, remember, they're not interested in that. You're going to be showing them why Agile can make their dreams come true, whatever those dreams may be, but you also have to make sure you've removed any barriers to saying yes. And the easiest way to do that, if you want the best bang for the buck, is to create flexibility. Here's what I mean. Imagine you're dealing with a support team. You've met someone who heads up the support department. You spend a little time talking to them, and what you've learned is that what they really want is to decrease the mean time to repair. That is the length of time from when they get the call to when the problem is resolved. Now, you've also learned that if they improve that metric, that's what the entire team gets bonused on, and this person really cares about making their team successful from a career perspective. Okay, so now you know a little bit about what's in their hearts. Now, in the course of the same conversations, you might have uncovered that this team doesn't really have a lot of budget or time to learn anything new, much less to try anything new. They're really not willing to take any risks right now. They don't want to upset their existing processes. So here's where the flexible part comes in. You're going to have to be prepared to make an offer that says, look, what if I came in and just did a half-hour seminar on how Agile works? And further to that, I'm going to zoom in on Kanban because I think that the simple task of making your work visible can really help organize your workflow and set your priorities properly. And as a bonus, at the end of it, I will have created Kanban boards for your team that they can take away and start using. So we'll actually make the half an hour about giving your team specific tools, techniques, and actions that they can use right away. And if you use those techniques for, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to notice a real uptick in the number of cases you're able to handle in a day, and you're going to notice that your mean time to repair has come down by probably about 10 to 20%. So do you see what we've done there? We've identified the need. What is it that's truly in their hearts? What is it that these people really desire? Then you've started a conversation about how Agile can help them get there. You haven't really talked about the features or benefits of agility yet. You've simply offered to help them meet a need. And at the same time, you've crafted a way in this case, something that eliminates the risk, the complexity, and the cost that they were afraid of or didn't want to get into to make it easy for them to say yes. So that's a little primer on the mindset of the conversations around selling agility. But how do you get to that one-on-one situation? How do you get yourself invited to the table to even have that conversation, much less run the session? Well, this is where the evangelism comes in. Because realistically, if agility is limited to a couple of teams working on a couple of pieces of software or a couple of apps somewhere in a corner of the building, it is never going to spread as an enterprise mindset. So we have to reach the support guys. We have to reach the marketing guys. We have to reach the HR guys. We at least have to try. And remember, the point is not to get everyone doing Agile for every situation, every day. It is simply to put the right tools in their back pocket so that when it's right, when they need it, they know how to use it. So here's what I've learned to get people interested enough to have the initial conversation. Principle number 1, you got to roam the streets and you got to meet people. This is in the elevators. This is in the lunchroom. This is in the parking garage. This is everywhere you roam. You should have your business cards with you or a way for people to reach out and follow up with. Because with every random stranger that you meet, you have an opportunity to introduce them to Agile. So get yourself a little elevator speech ready that basically describes what Agile is and what you do. Because when you say you're an Agile coach, they're probably going to say, I've heard of Agile. What is it? So you might answer that by saying, well, it's a technique that started in the software world that helps teams perform better. Or it's a simple, modern way of delivering more value to the marketplace more quickly. However you want to frame Agile, have a one-sentence teaser, just like a movie trailer, that invites people in to learn more. Now, if your true belief is that you're not good at roaming the halls and having conversations with random people and inviting them into your world, that's okay. Here are some other things that you can do that, in my experience, work well to help you evangelize agility. Number 1, have a place internally where anyone can go to check out your work. This is a place where you post videos that you or your team can make about agility, its benefits, how it works, how to do it right, lessons learned in the field, or better yet, where else it's being used in the company and the impacts and benefits that it's brought. If your company has social media channels, whether those are chat groups, forums, internal news groups, internal Twitter or Instagram style sharing platforms, use those as well. Traditional rules of social media marketing apply. The more often, more frequently you post, the better, and the more valuable your posts are, the more likely people are to read and engage. Now that's push style marketing in the sense that you're putting content out there and hoping that people will read it. Another thing that you can do to help pull people towards you is to create interesting events with attractive titles that people will either pass by or hear about and want to check into it. It could be a 30-minute informational event in the main cafeteria, lunchroom, or gathering place. You could set up a tent in the parking lot, or you could run your event in an internal boardroom and simply advertise in those spaces instead. Make it interesting and make it fun, but make it compelling. Great titles might be How Agile Can Transform Your Customer Satisfaction, or How Using Scrum Retrospectives Can Help You Eliminate Waste. If you create things that offer benefit to other people, it's much easier to attract their attention. Now, an even better way to attract people to your cause is to take those topics to an existing town hall where the attendance is already secured. One of the problems with creating your own event is getting people to find out about you and to want to come. But if there are other corporate events that people are already going to, just get yourself on the roster. This is one of those areas where you never know what you're capable of until you just ask. The people who organize the events are always looking for interesting speakers and interesting topics to help fill an hour or two. Now, the next thing you have to do is once you've created some initial interest and action around your cause, you're going to have to create opportunities for people who follow you to deepen and expand their knowledge, because that initial conversation is almost never enough. So create little opportunities to learn, or better still, to share your lessons learned with other people who are just getting into or getting interested in the practice. This could take the shape of lunch and learns every week or couple of weeks, small training events, online webinars, or live Q&A sessions. The point is that evangelism is not just one-time reaching out and extolling the benefits and preaching the good of an Agile practice, but continuous engagement and deepening the relationships with those people that you meet. In my experience, what tends to happen is that the more of these things that you run, the more people start to tell their friends. And the more people attend, the more they ask you to come back and tell them more or help them apply it in the actual workspace. But friends, here's the thing that you need to remember. What will attract people most of all is your powerful voice and vision. You need to have an opinion about why Agile. How does it work? How can it make things better for people? And most importantly, you need to have a picture of the world and how it changes because you were in it, and how the things that you do serve the people around you. That's what's going to help create that magnetic voice and personality that other people can't help but want to come to. And that's what's going to make evangelism so much easier for you and your tribe. Folks, thank you for listening. You can reach out at badassagile.com or find me on Twitter at @badass_agile. I'll see you next time, and until then, stay badass.